Hostility.
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 Hostility. Hostility.
Hair, it's her hair.
Whoa, what's with all the hostility? Hostility. Did you learn nothing in India?
Buffalo girl.
Please, Helia, let me talk to her. Your hostility hangs thick in the air.
If I can get a better read on the crowd, see if anybody's showing any hostility towards Raoul.
Mind if I sit in?
Save him by destroying his hands. Do I detect a touch of hostility?
And that goes for the three of you.
You'd stab him to death with a fucking paintbrush, right? Why the hostility?
Hostility.
I can't see.
Look with your other eye.
Oh, hostility, that's good. Yes, now we're getting somewhere.
Did any of your hostility towards him stem from behavior you thought was effeminate?
No.
Oh, I'd let history worry about that.
That's hostility.
The evil Poe has none of those qualities, and all of the Dragon Warrior's aggression and hostility.
Gosh, Amy, I'm sensing a little hostility. Is it maybe because, like Sheldon's work, your sex life is also theoretical?
I was trespassing, okay? What else do you want from me?
There's no need for hostility, unless you're masking something.
I read your FBI files. The psychologist reports. While exhibiting anger and hostility toward authority, Dr. Hodgins uses harmless conspiracy theorizing as an outlet.
Offensive.
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 Extremely offensive that you'd accuse me of hiding behind my pregnancy.
Fitness test? Does CPD get a driving test? It's offensive.
You and me, a couple of margaritas.
That is so offensive.
Why? That isn't racist.
I know.
The way I took a hold of you wasn't really offensive, wouldn't make you afraid.
You can't deny his offensive output. He can play.
Can, but I'd prefer the Red Tails take the leg where we'd need protecting.
Our first major air offensive over Berlin.
I got nothing. With the most vile and offensive stock of celluloid.
Poor Friar Eye.
What exactly did Mom do to you that she didn't do to me?
Oh, come on, I know it's offensive, but you gotta admit, it's funny.
You should take responsibility.
It's not only offensive, but it's fucking stupid.
It's offensive that I'm saying that you should be smart?
Yes, it's offensive that I have to be the smart one all the time. I'm allowed to be just as irresponsible as you.
In men. Yes, Martha Hoover could be cruel, offensive, and downright mean.
Back to square one.
We've been waiting for the right time to launch an offensive.
No, it's too dangerous.
Factor.
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 It's not a factor. What's the job?
Need you to build a radio beacon.
Moses, we need the human factor.
Where was the human factor when you killed Dale Tanner?
Let me show you something.
I didn't consider them a threat.
And Lennon, how does he factor into this war? Factor into this war?
My hope is decisively.
Yeah, right. Black market dealers, right?
Well, they're in and out in a matter of hours. They neutralize the acidic factor of the blood and they harvest what they need.
The acid factor of the kaiju blood creates a toxic phenomenon named kaiju blue.
Finish that transcription factor program.
Seconds away from getting his whole head blown off by a bunch of Racktonians, okay? So just factor that in, amp up the fear a little.
How about the girls? How do they factor into all this?
From a long distance, it's not a point-and-shoot activity. You factor in all the conditions, like range to target.
For the agency, I played God, but my linchpin theory didn't factor in the human cost.
When you factor in sleep and school, I can really only count on about 400 hours of real FaceTime each year.
You grew up hunting boar around here could make that shot.
Yeah.
Also factor in all the qualified military personnel on the island.
Excess.
Excess.
Excess. Excess.
Excess.
Therefore, is brought up the excess power, excess power, excess power Dr. Kadar identified is actually to destroy the grid.
These Volkas, you guys.
We're not men of excess, though, are we?
Give it some time.
Time, Doctor. I have an unfortunate excess of.
Two divisions lay idle in camp when that fool denied me even the smallest excess of troops.
Okay, what they expect is color, noise, and excess. They want
a turnout's supposed to withstand temperatures in excess of 500 degrees.
All passengers.
Sorry. Get rid of some excess baggage.
Considerable success has been achieved over the last few years by draining the pericardial sac of the excess fluid and administering adrenaline.
A predictable excess of pomp and grandeur. Snow should have no trouble sneaking inside.
Same amount in my own fund. In 23 years' time, I'd have in excess of $3 million.
The autopsy showed that Trent Kelty's epinephrine level was well in excess of what he received during the code. He was murdered. Making it difficult to obtain suitable cells. Enough to purchase excess embryos from Abbey.
Consist of the storm drain tunnels, besides the manholes.
That'd be through the outfalls, where excess runoff drains to the river.
Technician. Technician. Technician.
Technician.
Technician.
Alone, come with me.
Oh, these are trained technicians, and I've got a roast in the freezer.
Get out of here.
This is a Chinese prison retrofitted by 8 Argus technicians. There is no getting out of here.
Mr. Wolfram. I'm the cadaver technician.
Groundskeeper.
Potato.
Not much. 42, former city worker, Department of Transportation, computer technician, left his job when she was killed 1 year ago today.
William had the sample picked up from the house. I sealed it and handed it to the technician myself.
Doctors, nurses, specialists, technicians. Surgery is a team sport.
Support services technician, yeah.
Support services technician? I thought he was a janitor.
Bookkeeping, accounting, x-ray technician, dental hygienist.
You're looking for a technician with high-level clearance. Try the temperature-controlled room labeled Applied Research.
The woman posing as the imaging technician. She avoided the cameras by wearing a hat on the way out, but...
You didn't warn her that I was coming instead of you, that I was coming with a technician, that any of this was happening.
Refresh. Refresh. Refresh.
Refresh.
Refresh.
Refresh. Yeah!
J. Edgar Hoover Building. Let's refresh ourselves.
You feel refreshed?
That can't be right. Do me a favor. I just refresh it. Let's see if it pulls up.
Our deal. Refresh my memory. Was our deal supposed to end with...
I'll come with you, Mary. I need to refresh our marmalade supplies.
Open the refresh valve.
A courier. But he's not a target. Waller doesn't want you to kill him.
Refreshing. Admit, I did save your ass.
Your modesty is so refreshing. It's quite refreshing, actually.
Yo, Fitz.
Refresh my memory, Cap! Was being massacred part of the plan?
Address.
Address.
Address. Address.
Address.
All she could tell me was what neighborhood they found him in. They don't have any contact information, no phone number, no address.
Oh dear, if he had an address, he wouldn't be homeless.
I was valedictorian and expected to give an address. Even now, I can remember that moment when I walked up to the podium and looked out at the crowd. Oh, I got 2 emails from him. Do you have Leonard's email address? And never mind, I found it.
All right. Name, dress. Okay. In case of emergency call, you
move a little closer. Closer. There you go. All right, gentlemen, please address your partners.
So, Bob, you gonna pop by my speech? Keynote address, whatever.
Got it. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome. I put the address in the paper.
Okay.
In Kung Fu, the goal is to address your weakness, which in your case happens to be your temper.
I have no weaknesses!
Benjamin Prentice, North Virginia State, member of the Outdoors Club.
Great, give me his home address. I just wish you would have told the truth.
Do you remember the address of the club?
Okay, I've entered my billing address, expiration date, and charge.
Rain. Rain.
Rain. Rain. Rain.
Oh! Let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign, reign, reign in all bosoms, that the rude scene may end.
The reign of the gangster Mickey Cohen in Los Angeles is at an end.
His death will erase any blood debt from his reign, from his reign, from his reign, including Thea's.
There was no time to dwell on his latest victory, because an even greater challenge lay ahead, ending Kara's reign at the Tour de Woodbury.
Your reign of justice is over, Turbo Rider. But to be a true hero, you'll have to save your girlfriend.
Yeah, these all look like they're from the ominous decade. Last 10 years of King Ferdinand's reign.
Wish me to do. There is a rival who claims to be heir to the demon. And you must eliminate this threat from your reign.
You jealous?
Well,
Phil, it was 20 years ago. Rein it in.
Ah, the late King Renly. Rather a short reign. Murdered by a woman, I hear.
The night fort's closest to us. It was the first castle on the wall. The Watch abandoned it during the reign of King Jaehaerys I.
All right, let's get right to the vote. Show of hands, all those opposed to Leonard and his reign of tyranny.
So you. Glad to see you're finally reining in those man boobs, bro.
Imagination. Imagination.
Imagination.
Imagination. Imagination.
What about imagination? Imagination. Imagination. Should I use that one?
Last time I checked, it was still available.
How do you make them up?
Imagination, imagination, imagination.
You are stuck in the 20th century, Lucas. You lack imagination.
Maybe so, but right now I don't need imagination. I need copy.
You're a man with imagination.
Really got to use my imagination.
In a world of pure imagination, take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
I didn't sleep with the figment of my imagination.
I actually have a very vivid imagination, like cronuts. I had a vision of them before.
Use your imagination.
You're the snake father. This place runs on imagination, on belief.
Maybe it's just my imagination.
Defect.
Defect. Defect. Defect. Defect.
In my genes. Defect of my genome engineering.
Could explain a lot of things about me.
She's a healthy 12-year-old girl with a bum knee, not an IV drug user or someone with a congenital heart defect. Heart defect. Heart defect.
Husband. Detective, I had nothing to do with Richie's death. And by the way, there is no defect, or cover-up.
He is one of the most undervalued players in baseball. His defect is that he throws funny.
It's a birth defect.
No, it's not.
Look, no more questions, okay?
Tonight's murders. The slugs have the same distinctive dent on the case head. It's caused by some sort of defect in the gun's barrel. The grooves and lands show a steep twist to the left.
It was intended to induce key men on your crew to defect, then to recruit them ourselves.
No, seriously. But my sister died when I was in college. Heart defect. So I dropped out and...
Expose the cover-up.
He needed to prove that Modesto knew about the defect even before people started dying.
Given the velocity of the shrapnel, this must be related to a defect in the airbags.
And judging by the holes in that dummy, Modesto was aware of that defect and chose to sweep it under the rug.
McGregor syndrome. It's a genetic defect that creates fluid buildup in the lungs, which leads to oxygen deprivation and multi-system organ failure.
See, that's when I discovered a defect in my design.
The weapon. How did that happen? A hand? Birth defect. Yeah.
Combat.
Combat. Combat.
Combat.
Combat.
Due to trial by combat. Trial by combat. Trial by combat.
That's PTSD.
So you've seen a lot of combat. So you've seen a lot of combat. So you've seen a lot of combat, and you're having trouble moving on.
Every day, hours of training, and far more homework than we ever had on Earth. We train in hand-to-hand combat, hand combat, hand combat.
I'm an army man. Wow, respect. Seen any combat? Afghanistan.
Lincoln has them too.
Each scar marks a kill in combat.
5 kills.
Here. You will know that I'm not combat ready, or even for that matter, combat inclined.
You never are till you are.
One taste of combat was enough for me, Your Grace. I would like to keep what remains of my face.
Believe me, it is nothing compared to the 1st Battalion, 9th Marine Regiment, Regimental Combat Team 1.
And the original file.
Why didn't you just call me?
Yeah, I coulda. When I heard we were both combat vets, I guess I wanted in on a little bit more action than I got out in the park.
Yeah, this Marshal served in the 4th Brigade Combat Team in Afghanistan.
Nothing in Brodsky's file mentions the 4th Brigade Combat Team.
No, oddly enough, he wasn't feeling very chatty. However, he did want me to commend you on your combat prowess.
He said that?
No.
It's a UCAV. A combat drone.
So what are you saying?
Cooking is combat. And I don't lose.
Conceal. Conceal. Conceal.
Conceal.
Conceal.
She's been diagnosed as bipolar, a condition she concealed from her superiors for more than 10 years.
What else did she conceal from you, Mr. Berenson? Did she conceal from you the fact that she was sleeping with Congressman Brody?
All right, I prefer to have something small, something easier to carry, easier to conceal, easier to conceal, easier to conceal. All right?
You need to put these in your ears. They conceal a tone. They conceal a tone. They conceal a tone hidden in white noise. It enables the brain to go into a theta state.
Christine found that Dirk, Mr. Harriman, attempted to conceal a diversion of a very large sum of money in connection with the deal.
It's evidence. We can't destroy, move, alter, conceal evidence.
State. Now, what you just saw there was a brief expression of happiness on his face, which he was trying his best to conceal. It lasted for less than 1/5 of a second as what we call a micro-expression.
Anything, Tommy.
You think you can hide behind attorney-client privilege if you conceal evidence of a child's murder? I will have you disbarred, and then you will stand trial alongside your client.
You gave this to me because I caught you concealing it.
That earns you adaptability.
Again. I found him in the same plane that took off from Nigeria. In the same plane that lies above us now. That has concealed this place.
Helmsman, come left. Steer course 325.
Activate Prairie Master to conceal frequencies. Hold at 12 knots.
Best captains conceal their maps in code. He was an apt pupil.
These gloves can help conceal your powers.
Sure.
I don't appreciate their fanny packs.
Pretty handy for concealing a grenade.
Convey.
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 Says, that's all.
Please convey my deepest apology.
Walk towards me like I'm Nikki. And the only way to convey how much you've missed me is by your walk, by your slow walk.
Somehow, Silver Eye conveys that she is not here to take advantage.
So, the idea is that I make a face that conveys the fact that I would have no problem hurting you.
Exactly what it is. Now convey that shit. Let me see it.
Okay.
You trust your intelligence to a woman?
When one seeks to convey a message, if you have something pertinent to convey, inscribe a Greek letter, alpha, above whichever locale is convenient. If we have something to convey to you, we will inscribe the letter.
Did the miner convey this to you?
And if he dies here, Leo, the responsibility is ours. We need to convey his magnificence back to the palace.
I love text shorthand. It allows you to convey content and tone without losing velocity.
Will you allow me to convey the news myself?
Both the President and the Attorney General have asked me to convey their thanks for your work on this case.
Steep.
Steep. Steep. Steep. Steep.
The way was steep, way was steep, way was steep. Darvel kept on climbing, regardless.
Hidden spots like the Golden Pond that are sometimes filled with fish. But they're hard to find. And the climb is steep, steep, steep.
It's too steep. It's too steep. It's too steep. I've only got one rope and you don't know how to climb mountains.
Make it steep.
$150.
It's a little steep, isn't it?
Or you can find it yourself. You guys are pretty big.
I'm afraid there's no elevator.
Oh, that's all right. I mean...
Well, there are many stairs. Steep stairs.
I can do it.
But the price is too steep.
30 florins is a bargain.
30 florins is sodomy.
Up to 10 makes it easier for my partner and I to split.
Steep.
It's not that bad.
Castle, you were on the edge of a very, very steep cliff, my friend.
Jay, could you steep my tea?
The tea needs to steep for at least 7 minutes.
And some lightly used steep discount.
Scale.
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 Scale. Scale.
Have fallen.
You think?
Ow. On a scale of 1
Ow.
On a scale On a scale
No.
On a scale of 1 to 10 On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain?
0.
It is all right to cry.
Human size to make it comprehensible. We've created a scale so that we can forget its unfathomable scale.
A little better.
You're not in sync with what I'm doing. I'm just playing a major scale, but we can move it down. Majorly shitty scale. Stop talking.
Office. Thank you, dear. Scale of 1 to 10. How happy am I right now?
10?
1. Of course, my scale is in reverse order, 1 being the highest.
Look for a PA scale.
Right, well, it has a scale, but the rest, S
V3, V205.
Layers. Layers upon layers of, walls. But once you scale those walls, the effort is worth it. What's he like? I mean, on a scale of 1 to Hannibal Lecter, what are we dealing with here?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad at us are you?
Some things always manage to catch up to you.
Regular movie scale, that was a 7 or an 8. Zombie movie scale, it was like a 4, tops.
There's a zombie movie scale?
Yep.
How heavily sedated is Fry?
On a scale of 1 to 10, about a 6.
I have a boyfriend.
Scale of 1 to 10, how serious is it?
10?
Scale of 1 to 10? Don't do this. What am I doing?
Wolf's blood, dragon's scale. I've tasted this brew before.
Eye of newt, dragon scale, adder's fork, lizard's maw.
You know, maybe you should check her Glasgow compass.
Amateur.
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 SI.
Amateur, amateur, amateur.
Real mature, Your Highness. We have places to go.
What's going on here?
This amateur storm chaser, Harold Gull, is under arrest.
That one?
No.
That one?
No.
Amateurs. 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 This is such amateur hour. Give me $50 for the door guy.
Look, I'm not just a bandit, okay? I'm also a son, a friend, an amateur arsonist.
Yes, ever since she ran off to Xinjiang with that amateur magician.
And thus, I'm going to formally propose that the ban on amateur kung fu be lifted.
And a gas leak. Come on, it's amateur hour from top to bottom.
No, this is obviously the work of a rank amateur at best.
You?
Gifted amateur.
Rule number 1, always keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction.
I don't need.
Typically than your apparel might suggest.
As amateur historians, we've studied this battle, the terrain, military maneuvers.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would Vladov hire an amateur? Pay by check. It's not a good sign for law enforcement.
Bargain.
Bargain.
Bargain. Bargain.
Bargain.
I've kept my end of the bargain. Bargain. I have not told anyone. I was gonna make it right when we split it, and all you had to do was keep your side of the bargain, but you didn't.
You're right, I'm horrible.
Because you tell the truth?
Hey, an ugly kid is an ugly kid. And a bargain is a bargain. A bargain is a bargain. A bargain is a bargain.
He didn't.
If no bargain was struck, then how are you still alive?
I don't know. 8, 10 clams? It's yours. 10, huh?
You're mine, darling. Don't forget it. XOXO, Ruby.
Maybe he didn't live up to his side of the bargain.
Hey, Bethan.
Just watching.
Yes, I've been cleaning up your little mess along the way. Just like old times, brother.
Well, you've had your fun. I believe we have a bargain.
That's right.
It's possible. It's probably why she stole the cure. She wants a bargain for her freedom. Keller's son-in-law's steering the ship. It's a blue chip at a bargain basement price. Smart money's already in, pal.
For a long time. On a good day, I just follow through with that. Today, I'll bargain. All the evidence I have in exchange for your power to call this thing off.
You probably think I've made a devil's bargain. But maybe I have.
They were willing to donate over $1 million for that. These filters are only worth $200,000. I'd say that's a bargain.
You turned down that offer.
Merchant.
Merchant. Merchant.
Merchant.
Merchant.
Mere words cannot adequately describe the festivities ahead.
Your Honor, the mere existence of the file proves that Mr. Istok perjured himself for Jason Brodor's benefit.
No, this is obviously the work of a rank amateur. At best, a mere pretender, a mere pretender, a mere pretender, angling for my throne.
No, you had an understanding. One for which I gave you no cause.
Your mere presence gives me cause, my lady.
Da Vinci is a mere dilettante.
You planned this.
More than mere bribes are needed to impress my father-in-law. I sought to create an opportunity.
Almost time, Grandpapa. In mere moments, your failure will become my triumph.
If you want to hunt, my door is open. But if the mere whiff of the Navy is too much for you, then God bless and get the fuck out.
Your David protected father's flock. A mere boy felled a giant and proved to all the strength of our Lord.
You can do it. With the mere flick of your wrist.
Now, Warden, the escape happened a mere 2 days before Burroughs was scheduled to be put to death. He's already been granted 1 day. Do you anticipate any further?
Counter. Counter.
Counter. Counter.
Countered.
Until when? And what happens when we run out? It's not like you can buy this stuff over the counter, unless you're in Tibet. Then
Piece of candy already. She won't notice. I'm not climbing onto the counter. Counter.
Senora, this knowledge provides an opportunity to counter their schemes. Counter their schemes. Counter their schemes.
We are card counters at the blackjack table. And we're going to turn the odds on the casino.
Stone will agree to it. If he tries to counter, shut him down. I need the Amato file.
I take the credit card to the guy behind the counter and hold our spot in line.
We're starting to eliminate suspects. Some of the counters, the cooks.
Apollo and his boys come back to scope out the place. I can't have my bank overrun with scanners and money counters. It's not a good look.
The others have a hitch in their spin kick. Oof! Counter with a jab, and you own them.
I always imagined as much. Which is why I'd like to make a counter-proposal. Men!
Wait. This can't be. The Geiger counter in the suit, it's reading less than 1 millirad. But that's normal.
But you also ordered that the shield plane shouldn't be shot down. I had to counter that order myself.
To repel intruders.
All right, so how do we get up there?
Well, I've got a counterspell from Cora.
I left the key to my dad's house out on the counter. My mom took it.
Correspondence.
Correspondence.
Correspondence. Correspondence. Correspondence.
Have interacted with somebody. Tech scrubbed his computer and found a hidden directory that they think contained private correspondence. Private correspondence. Private correspondence.
Dear Mr. Waters, I'm writing to thank you for your electronic correspondence. Correspondence.
Nor would I persist against so many of my better instincts in this correspondence.
You never did.
Like I said, I'm bad with correspondence.
Henry, some of my men have intercepted some of William Cecil's recent correspondence with King James of Scotland.
Electronically.
Yeah, but...
And all of your subsequent correspondence has been via email. We've had a delightful correspondence about the Delaware Aqueduct.
Well, I've been taking a correspondence course in typing and shorthand. That's what was in the envelopes.
All right, I got to Claire's prison records. This is all the correspondence since he got there.
Something wrong, sir?
I received an anonymous correspondence.
About?
Record of station visits, phone correspondence, medical history, SSI data.
I'll keep pushing them, but in the meantime, you should start gathering all the correspondence you ever had with her.
Outer. Outer.
Outer.
Outer.
Okay. Outer space thing. Outer space thing. Outer space thing. We would like it very much if we could just talk to you.
Yeah, rock from outer space. Rock from outer space. Rock from outer space.
I first met her on a spring night. She was on the pier facing the Outer Banks, in the Outer Banks, in the Outer Banks, the moonlight glinting off her face.
Ender, you're gonna leave our transporters defenseless.
We're gonna win this battle, Dink. It's all or nothing now. When the outer layer is hit, the wreckage will continue to drift with us like a shield.
Complete the machine that will take us on our journey. I'm gonna breach the outer perimeter. I'm gonna disable the security measures.
Here we start to notice very small anomalies on the outer sleeve of the brain.
Tomorrow we're gonna head to Buffalo in the morning. Wednesday's outer boroughs in New York City, and then the Al Smith dinner at night.
Here, forward end of the lower gun deck. Doors as thick as the outer hull, as is the roof.
I've thought about adding an extra component to the outer coat to prevent the vaccine from drying out.
Stop him, Gabriel! I banish your spirit to the cold ether of the outer sphere.
You banished me to the outer sphere for taking joy in delivering God's punishment.
I just received word that there's a giant running amok in the outer village.
I thought giants were extinct.
Nobody, and by nobody I specifically mean women, care about dumb outer space problems.
Endless.
Endless. Endless. Endless.
Endless.
Or in some dark, endless abyss. Endless abyss. Endless abyss.
How long are you gonna keep that up? 20 minutes? An hour? Wow, the ripples must just be endless. Endless. Endless.
Well, just cataloging phones and boxing up evidence and filing endless paperwork. Endless paperwork. Endless paperwork.
It's like I feel the weight of endless possibilities just sitting on my chest. She is not doing anything.
Thanks for not calling me nothing, by the way. It's an endless nightmare.
You reset, Andrew. Like a tape playing over and over on an endless loop.
It's different from the Midwest, where possibility sprawls bright and endless in every direction.
Sometimes it's heaven, sometimes it's hell. But out of doors physical labor is just what I need after those endless night shifts in Garland.
With 9 kinds of lasagna and our endless pasta bar, Vito's has something for everyone in the family.
The top 3, all are ready for your call.
And so it goes, the endless cycle of Chicago investigations.
Guy speaks in monotone, has an endless list of demands, and we have no idea what he actually needs to get a deal done.
In the street, some screwed up, endless joke.
A great doughy lump I'd sat next to it. Endless dinners and tedious gatherings.
Announce. 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 Announce.
I am here to announce the first Universal Congress of the Cause to be held.
No. That the patterns you choose announce to everyone who you are.
Now, Carl, when you announce your gubernatorial run, I'm sure you would love to not only look like a guy who didn't support this whole ghetto loans thing.
Term pledge. He announces in some huge speech that he and a Democrat are joining together for 1 term.
Hey, you gotta announce yourself. You can't just creep up on me.
So you asked us to a meal to announce another meal? That's so free of you.
Quiet! Quiet! We're about to announce.
Hidden Valley Ridge is too close to call. However, we're now projecting a winner in Fairview.
Hannah Fields. Next week, Hannah Fields will announce her new investment branch. She's buying out Singer.
Tonight,
Exhibit. Exhibit.
Exhibit.
Exhibit.
Exhibit.
This is our exhibit. This is our exhibit, Your Honor. We used it last year in a lawsuit against Mr. Canning's client. I don't remember what it was like to be 14.
She's old enough to exhibit a little character. Right?
I believe in creationism.
Exhibit A.
Dr. G, dude, I am not that good. I'm not that good. Exhibit C.
Who is this witness?
Mr. Carl Hobart, Your Honor.
And what will he testify to?
An exhibit we would like to place into evidence.
Okay.
Come, Johnny. I miss having a young person here who exhibits a touch of accountability.
Father, when you wake up one day and realize both your children have left you, maybe you will exhibit a touch of accountability.
It says when ingested in large doses, the victim can exhibit erratic and explosive behavior.
Visitor center has an exhibit on. It's really supposed to be.
Were you close to Mr. Hayes, Alyssa?
We worked together. I helped him curate this exhibit.
Dr. Barker, what kind of issues was he dealing with? Did he ever exhibit signs of paranoia?
No.
Sickness. The crew, they've been exhibiting some very strange behavior. Regina threw herself overboard, for God's sake.
Seriously. That's why I'm so excited about the crown jewel exhibit we brought to America.
Full day. Talks with his dad, figure we should make the most of it. Sergeant exhibit at the museum.
Convert.
Convert. Convert. Convert. Convert.
A problem at ILM, doing our effects, we had to convert from film to digital in order to do it. You could save a huge amount of money just by not having to convert anymore. Convert anymore. Convert anymore.
Really nice. I'm not here to convert. Convert. Convert.
Good.
They play it every Christmas. You must have saw it before Jack made you convert. Made you convert. Made you convert.
All we have to do is convert this space into an open door.
It was great. Shame turnout wasn't better.
One convert at a time.
The second, all heads of state throughout Italy shall renounce Christianity, accept the call of Allah, and convert to Islam.
For that long. I almost converted them.
Oh, I guess right around there.
So what was the ground like before the lot was converted? Was there greenery?
Alone, he was, by all accounts, an excellent police officer. I believe he was converted to his new cause. Only one drug is missing. He could have robbed the pharmacy of OxyContin, Vicodin, any number of narcotics which could be converted into cash. Indeed, he could have robbed them of actual cash.
Of comfort. He shall convert my soul.
Stays off freeze. We show unity. We offer progress. Let's convert some lifelong conservatives.
Vaughn, I hate to tell you, it's a torque converter.
Well, how much is it going to cost?